Okay, so good to speak to you ahead of the last game of the year. First of all, how is the squad? How has everything been?
Yeah, good. Obviously, it's been a tough week. 3 games in any week is tough on the squad. But, despite the result on Wednesday, I actually thought it was one of our better performances with the ball. I thought we were exceptional without it. Now we need to start capitalising and scoring goals. So, yeah, we're in a good place. Obviously, we've got Lauren James out. Alessia's still out. So, we're missing two there, but pretty much everybody else is fit now.
5 changes at the game against Everton. Was it good to get the minutes into pretty much almost everyone?
Yeah, it was good. And I think everybody deserved it. Everybody works hard all the time. Their professionalism is unbelievable. The way that people have been patient in terms of minutes, but when they have had their opportunity come on and made a difference, it was good to be able to change the squad and obviously still get a really good performance despite the result.
And Ivana came on as well, made her debut. I'm sure she's been really pleased to get some minutes as well.
Yeah, it was good to get her on and it was the right time. I know there's been a lot of calls for her to play, but unfortunately she had back-to-back injuries and we wanted to get the right amount of training load into her, make sure she was physically right and emotionally right to go out and play, and I thought she did well when she came on.
Yeah, and also you said there it was one of those games where you had so much possession. What kind of things can you learn from a game like that when you've come away with a defeat rather than a win? You've been so good in the WSL, but I'm sure you can learn things from victories, but also learning things from a defeat.
You always learn. It doesn't matter win, draw or lose. And I think we learned that actually, yes, we dominated the ball. Yes, we won the ball back really well. But actually what we do in execution terms in the final third is really important because we don't concede many goals. We're disappointed we conceded that one on transition. It was a bit sloppy from us. But we're getting in the right areas. It's about our decision making and our execution, the right types of balls in the box, people taking their chances, and we need to do that more consistently.
Well, Bristol City at the weekend then, they've had a struggling time at the moment in the season, haven't they? They've not been able to pick up a win. What do you make of their season so far?
I think they've been unfortunate in some games. I think they're very organised. They're very good on transition. Obviously, as a former player of ours, Ebony Salmon, we know what she brings and the pace she brings. And, obviously they've took points off Reading. So it shows you they are more than capable. And they've struggled, we know that. But every team comes here and gives a little bit more, so we won't be expecting anything more than a difficult game.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, last season they beat us, didn't they, by a goal to nil. It was Ebony Salmon that scored that, so they have the qualities there to do that.
They do, and we need to remember that, but we don't need to focus on that. We need to focus on us. We need to focus on what we can do, what our capabilities are, and make sure that we play to our strengths and take the game to them.
And in terms of them coming here to Leigh Sports Village, they'll be, I'm sure, really well in defence, and they'll probably have a lot of players into the box. How will you be able to counter that? And is it important to break them down early on?
Patience is going to be key. We have to move the ball quickly. They have played 5 at the back, so you're going to be playing against numbers, but we need to move the ball around. We need to have good movement. We need to move the ball quickly. We need to be bright and clever in the final third. We need to take our opportunities.
Especially when teams come here as well. Do you think, you mentioned it before, anyone that plays Manchester United always seems to just have that little bit extra, don't they? And coming into the end of this game, it'll be the last game of this year. It's important to go out on a high, isn't it?
Yeah, we want to win. There'll be nothing less than we're working for than 3 points, because we want to stay where we are, which is top of the table at Christmas, so that we can be in a good position for the second half of the season for our ambitions to finish in and around the top 3.
And in terms of going into that winter break as well, is that the kind of thing that you want the girls to focus on, being, having a year that they can be really proud of and going into that next year?
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to finish on a high. And the only high we want is a win to make sure that we take all 3 points. And I say it to them every week, every game's a cup final because everybody raises their game against you. You need to have your best performances, and I'm confident. We've had a 3-game week. No, it's tough. Bristol haven't had a midweek game, but, even looking at training today, I know we're sharp enough to go out there and get a result.
It's been a crazy year because of obviously the coronavirus pandemic and the lockdown, but in terms of how far this club has come and having to deal with those restrictions, how proud of you of that this year you are?
I couldn't be more proud of the group of people that I work with and the way they've adapted, the way they've dealt with this crisis and the pandemic. And, a lot of my players spend an awful lot of time on their own. They come to work, they go home, they haven't had family or friends around them. We've asked them to make even more sacrifices than the government have to make sure that we have a safe environment. And the way they've dealt with it, but also the way they've stuck together in these times and looked after each other, and also the performances they've been able to produce in difficult circumstances, I think they should be immensely proud.
And of course, hopefully in the next year we will try and get fans back at the Lee Sports Village. It would be great as well if they can come back. But how much have you missed them this year?
We've missed them massively. You know, I stupidly got my hopes up this week, hoping that we might go down to Tier 2 and we could welcome them back. And they're the life and soul of this football club, so we can't wait to have them back in the stands and singing for the girls and getting behind the team.
Some other good news as well, Tobin Heath was named in the world's starting 11. Just how good is that for her, and how much of an accolade has that been?
Listen, it's not surprising. I think she's shown her qualities since she's been here. She's also shown an awful lot of leadership to this young group, which has been great. So she's been a fantastic addition to us. I think she's worthy of being in that 11, and she shows her qualities, and she will do again at the weekend.
I know you've just come off a big Christmas lunch with the rest of the team. Have you got any good plans for Christmas?
Some rest time. You know, I've said to my players, my staff players have got individual programs to take away with them, but really important my staff get some downtime. They work very hard. I work them very hard, and for me personally, a few days with the family and the kids and a little bit of switch off just to re-energise for that second half of the season.